Hello everyone, today we'll see if it's worth to buy a Model S in 2019. So if you notice, once the Model 3 came out on the market, the Model S has been coming down on the used car price, and currently it's trending between 30,000 to 40,000. So the 2012, 2013 base level Model S's are running around 30, 32,000, 35, and then the 2014s somewhere trending around 40,000 range. So they're finally in the affordable range for a normal person. You may question, wow, is that really normal? Yes, the average American median car price today is about, a new car price is about $45,000. So yes, when it's $30,000 to $40,000 used range, it is coming in the affordable range, and not to mention all the fuel savings you'll get out of it, and the insurance cost and all that. So the question is it really worth getting a Model S rather than getting a Model 3 brand new? So that's what I'm going to focus on today. So if you notice, the handle just popped out. That's a cool feature for the Model S, and the Model 3 does not have that. So if you're into showing off, yes, that's a cool feature. What else is cool about this car that the Model 3 doesn't offer? Okay, first of all, the size. In spite of what you think as a normal mid-size car, it is huge. This is bigger than an Avalon or a Maxima or any of those full-size cars, because the platform is pretty flat on the bottom and there's no engine. All you have is a front trunk, and there's plenty of space. Compared to the Model 3, it's even wider. It's way wider, if you notice. In the garage, it's literally scraping just as if I pull my minivan in, so it's as wide as the minivan. And there's a whole lot of features when it comes to the space itself. When you sit inside, it feels very spacious. And for the ones who are more than 6 feet tall, yes, most of the new cars, it's a really tight squeeze when you sit inside. But in this car, the seat goes way back with the, I'm 6 and clearly I have enough room left, extraordinary leg space and all. So that's all a plus compared to the Model 3 in terms of the spacing. Now let's talk about the real deal. So how does it feel in terms of the interior, between a Model S and a Model 3? So between a used Model S and a new Model 3, if you compare, the big difference is, Model S has the two screens, obviously. This screen is absent in Model 3 because you have a horizontal screen right around here. So how does that reflect in terms of functionality? Not much, really. You get used to it in pretty much an hour either way, and it doesn't make that big of a difference. So this is more of a traditional layout where you have traditional vents, where the Model 3 has that slot across. So those are the quickly standing out features. But the thing I like about Model S is the fact that there are some physical things. For example, the adjustment for the steering wheel. It's actually a physical button. In Model 3, it took a while to even figure out where it is in the screen, and then you had to scroll this to adjust how the steering position is. Everything is software controlled in the Model 3 compared to on the Model S. There's a little bit of room where traditional folks can feel a few buttons here and there. Other than that, it's pretty much the same operating system. So you'll have your controls over here with the vehicle settings, everything, even the sunroof. You hit open and the sunroof literally opens on the top. And so everything is software controlled, but there are a few buttons that I like that seems to be in the Model S, resembling a traditional car. So if you're too scared of going too technical, this may be a good fit. On the other hand, There's plenty space for a child seat and everything. One thing to point out, if you have a booster seat, the positioning of these seat belt holders, they seem to be narrow for some reason. So a child seat seems to be wider, so it's a pain to put that in. I don't know how many others are complaining about it, but other than that, space-wise, it's awesome. You also have the trunk and the frunk in this car, which is a single motor performance car, and the frunk is huge, compared to the Model 3. Let me hit open, and I'll go show you how big the frunk is. So this is awesome. Take a look at that. That looks like a full-size trunk in most of the smaller cars. If you have a dual motor setup, then this area will be blocked off, so you'll have a smaller frunk. But on the other hand, Model 3 has a really tiny frunk where you can put the charger cable. That's about it, So this definitely is a plus compared to the Model 3 in terms of getting a Model S as a used car. Okay, now let's get down to talking about the driving part of things. As we go into the suspension here, the car can be set at different ride heights. So you have low, which in the highway, if you're cruising, and it really works awesome. Super fast, center of gravity completely low and all that. And then you have high and very high, that really puts the car up high like an SUV. So you could literally feel like, I'm gonna drive a SUV today, set the steering at a stiffer suspension with the ride height being high. You feel like really being in a smaller SUV. And on the other hand, you can set it at the low setting and feel like a sports car all in one sedan. This is one feature that Model 3 does not have. Model S has the ride height up and down in a significant height, compared to tiny little adjustments. This really makes you feel like you're driving two different cars. So that's something to consider when it comes to Model S. That's some feature that you have two different cars, basically a high riding SUV kind of a feel, and then a low riding sports kind of a feel from the same car. So if you want to get this car for that kind of driving dynamics, this would be the way to go compared to a Model 3. The other quick thing to point out is, if you want a traditional key, so it's a cool looking key that looks like a Tesla itself. This has physical buttons. You press the top, it's a lock, unlock. You press the front, it's the frunk that opens, and you press the back twice, the trunk opens. So you have all these physical keys. You have to really press hard. In this car, compared to a Model 3, you get a key card and you do everything over the phone. This one also lets you do over the phone, but it's nice to have a physical key that a lot of older folks are used to, and they literally don't like the fact that the key card and the phone usage for using the car. So there is an optional extra charge if you want this on a Model 3, but Model S comes with this. So this is a nice feature for the older Model S. So that's one more thing to consider if you are getting a Model 3 over Model S. It's a typical supercharging station with a whole bunch of Teslas. It's all free. So I'm at a Tesla supercharger at this time, and something to point out, getting a Model S versus a Model 3. The Model S, most of them come with free supercharging, and they're transferable to the next owner, if I'm not wrong. So you can actually get the car used and still use free supercharging. And if you're wondering what supercharging is, you can take a look at it. In this particular one, supercharger, it went up to 100 kilowatt. Now it's at 54, but it normally takes about 30 minutes to fully charge the car. That can go 250 miles or 300 miles, something in that range. So and it's free. So another economic benefit in owning the older car versus the new Model 3, if I'm not wrong. I believe you have to pay to charge. So that's another benefit on the supercharging side. When you take it for a spin, it feels awesome. It's a Tesla. Look at this. The reverse camera is awesome. It's very crisp, big. So it definitely feels like you are driving a luxury car. On the other hand, as with age, any vehicle is gonna suffer a little bit of wear and tear. And in Tesla, it seems like the plastics, seems to be sort of starting to loosen up. So you can feel a little bit of rattling here and there on the 2013s on this one. But it's amazing how nice this whole smooth ride is. That's when you see the difference between the electric and the gas. The acceleration is amazing. It's like going in a complete roller coaster. See, the performance is just mind-boggling. But on the other hand, it's the same performance on the Model 3, so not a big difference between these two cars. It's awesome driving one of these, and it's just feels calm and peppy. So it's definitely the way to go. Electric is the way to go. But focusing on, should you get this over a Model 3? That's the bigger question. Model 3, I feel like, has more refinement. This feels much more of a raw feeling. I don't know how to describe this, but to start with, the steering wheel is much bigger on the Model S. It's not only a full size, but it feels even bigger than a full size. So I just feel like the Model 3 steering felt personal. It was easy to drive. It was easy to hug. The curves and all that. So, all right, let me pull back in here, and here's our shifter. That's the park. So, talking about, should you get a Model S used 2013, 2014 instead of a Model 3 2018 or 2019? So the answer is, I don't think so. The reason being, the Model 3 seemed really refined, and I've taken that for test drives quite a few times, and compared to the Model S, the Model 3 feels really refined. To start with, look at the steering wheel. It's big. It feels like almost driving a truck. It's very raw power, and the fit and feel, and the materials, everything. I feel like the Model 3 seems fit, much more refined, and with the Model S, it just feels like an old school car. It feels almost like a Lincoln town car. If you get a Lincoln town car with a black interior and put a bunch of awesome tech in it, that's how it feels. It's big, it's raw power, and it's somewhat, to me, it's somewhat getting outdated, and the Model 3 kind of fixes all those problems, and brings a new, fresh perspective to the electric cars for the same price. So the Model 3 at this point cost $40,000 or something like that. So if you think about it, most of the states do offer $3,000 range incentives, and the federal still has half of the incentive of the $7,500. So you still get about $7,000 back with the Model 3, and also it's much more efficient. So compared to a gas car, you'd at least save $100, $150 a month. So if your payment is going to be $500 a month or $600 a month, you're technically only paying around 400 to 450 a month range to keep a Model 3 brand new. So that's basically my verdict, saying that even though it's tempting, the price seemed to be affordable in the 30,000 range, 32,000 range for the Model S. But after test driving one for a whole day of close to 200 miles, it just doesn't feel like it's worth that money. I know people may disagree, and this is a performance single motor edition too, yet I really think I should go with the Model 3, or give the Hyundai Kona EV or the Kia Niro EV, one of them, a try to see if they are any better. I would still like to stick to a Tesla, but there are a lot of competitions coming at this point, and I would suggest buy the Model 3 over the Model S. So that's my verdict. So write your comments and suggestions on this video and on the topic of should you buy a used Model S versus a new Model 3 in the $35,000 range. All right, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel so you can see some interesting videos like this. Bye-bye.